Hey y'all, it's Solomon here. I had to do this video because I watched a documentary last night that really touched my spirit as a black man, and I felt that I wanted to share this with you guys. The name of the documentary on Netflix is called 13th, which stands for the 13th Amendment, which states, and I quote, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction." So what that practically means that they want to abolish slavery unless you were convicted of a crime. Now, slavery has been abolished at this point. They passed the law in January 31st, 1865, and it got ratified on December 6th, 1865. At this time, slavery has just been abolished, but black people were still being treated as slaves. So what they did, well, I'm going off of this documentary, what they did was they wanted to enslave the black people again. This amendment was to say you cannot be a slave anymore. Only way you can enslave a person, which is make them do work. You know, I know if you see them old movies where they're actually taking pitchforks and breaking rocks because, you know, that's what they did in jail a long time ago. So make them work for no pay or little pay at all is to enslave them, is to put them in jail because now slavery has been abolished. So they would get black people at any cost to get them back, get them to be enslaved again. So they would get them for loitering, for jaywalking, for spitting on the floor. Anything they could do to enslave a black person, they would do. That's what they did, and that's what they still do to this day. They have to get a quota to get you in jail. Now, my thing is, I was watching the documentary, and I think a lot of times people think that not slavery, but the killing of black people by police officers has just started. Hasn't. It's at an all-time high. It didn't just start, but it's at an all-time high. And we're just now seeing it. And the reason we're just now seeing it is because as adults, we see more. We understand more, but as a child, when you're in school, they teach you what they want to teach you, and they hide you from a whole lot of stuff. I remember in high school, not even in high school, in middle school, I heard about Emmett Till. If you know who Emmett Till was, he was a black boy who was killed by white people for wolf whistling at a woman. That's what they said. Now, they talked about Emmett Till last night on the documentary, and this is the first time in maybe like 20 years that I saw how Emmett Till looked after they did what they did to him. They didn't just kill him. They beat him to a bloody pulp. Literally, his face was so mutilated, and I'm like, my gosh, like, and who's you know, stopping this? Nobody. It was during the time of segregation, where everything separated. You know, blacks, y'all sit in the back of the bus. You drink from this water fountain. You sit at this part of this place. You come to this entrance. So you're not allowed to touch, to talk, to do anything to a white person because you would be killed for it. You'd be hung. You'd be shot. You'd just be killed because it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. Black people just were looked upon as monsters more than people. That's exactly what they were. Monsters, cargo, slaves, to everyone else. You know, Black lives didn't matter today. They didn't matter then either. Black lives never mattered. And they still don't matter to this day. You would hope they do, but Black lives never matter to everyone else because white people are the dominant culture in the United States. But they took Black people from Africa and brought them here. Now that we're populating, you're mad. But you brought us here. You understand what I'm saying? So when we want the rights that everyone else has, you get mad. We haven't had rights for years. You know? And I think it got them upset because they're like, we're not equal. We're supposed to be, but we're not. Because of our skin color. And that's the only difference between us and them. Our skin color. So before integration, Blacks couldn't go to the same school with white people. And then when they started to, they were getting beat on, spit on, punched, all kinds of things. And if you think about it, if you ever seen pictures or videos of Black people getting beat up, think about how it went full circle. Look at the Trump rallies. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything about him. I'm just saying, look at it. Like, this is not a debate on who the president should be. This is not that. This is what I'm saying about my Black people. I think that documentary, everyone needs to see it because it opens your eyes up to so many other things. The last thing the guy said in the documentary was, I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he was like, people always talk about, oh, I couldn't have lived in slavery days because I would have did this, that, and the third. We're living there now. We're living there now. There are millions upon millions of Black people in the jail system. Black and Latino mostly. They said Black people take up 2.5% of the United States, but 40% of Black people are in jail. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and then they're treated worse than if they were out here. They're treated like they are criminals when some of them are, some of them aren't. They did. I watched the whole thing, and they did an interview on Kalief Browder, God rest his soul. I had no idea what he went through. None whatsoever. I was listening to it and he said, I was not going to say that I did something that I didn't do. I didn't take the plea deal because I didn't do it. But if I would have taken a plea deal, nobody would have ever listened to my story. And he is so right about that. He was so right. Because they're telling you to do something, but no, you're not doing it. But in turn of not doing that, he endured so much disrespect, abuse, and so many other things that he didn't deserve. But he held his own. And I can only think what that does to someone. I can only imagine what that does to someone. It's like there's so many things going on in the world that people are not seeing. They don't care to see. But they need to open their eyes and realize what's really going on. Just because it's not you doesn't mean it can't be you. I know there's Black people who are probably watching this and like, oh, well, I don't give a fuck about Black Lives Matter. And you don't have to. You don't have to. But, you have to respect someone's views. Because I believe in Black Lives Matter. Because I know that to a lot of white people, I'm just another N-word. That's all I am. That's all I am. And that's all you are if you're another Black person as well. And because that's what they look at you as. If you're not white, you're just another N-word to these bigots and racist people. And I'm not here to say that all white people are racist, but they exist. They still do to this day. And it just is what it is. My issue is that, like, I don't know what it is going to take for people to understand what's going on in the world. Nobody is looking, nobody is understanding, nobody wants to do anything because it's not affecting them directly. And if it is affecting you directly, what can you do? You're wondering, what can you do? Everything starts with you. Everything starts with you. I can't force you to do anything you don't want to do because that's not my job. This is what I do to get to you. I'm trying to open your eyes to something. I need everyone to see this. Because I need everyone to see this documentary because it opened my eyes to some shit that I never knew. I did not know how hated black people were. And are. To this day. It's like we don't get treated like white people. To this day, we still don't. We're still disrespected. We're still talked down upon. We're still treated. And that's why so many black people are getting killed by police because their lives don't matter. How many black people are getting killed by white people and these white people are getting off? Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest about it. It's at an all-time high. Now, I know, like, some white people are like, well, here's black on black crime. Yes, there is black on black crime. But that's not what we're talking about right now. I'm not talking about that. I know that exists, but that's not what I'm talking about. Don't change the subject to what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how many white people have killed black people and gotten off. That's what I'm talking about at this moment. I'll wait. You understand what I'm saying? So that's everybody's defense. Don't use that as a defense. Answer my question, then we can move on to something different. That's when we can move on. Now I'll move on to black on black crime. That's a very, very high rate as well. And what I want to say is when we kill ourselves and black people kill other black people, white people, they make it seem like it's alright, or make it seem like as if we don't have to kill them because they're doing it their damn selves. That's how they look at it. That's the same thing with calling somebody the N-word. They don't need to call you it because you're calling it yourself. How? I don't say the N-word because I'm not going to use a derogatory term for black people to say to one of my brothers or sisters or anyone who I care about. Because I don't care how you say it, how you spell it. If you know the word I'm talking about, it means the same damn thing. I mean, it's the same word, and it meant something. You just changed it instead of saying bro or my dude or any of those other things you can say. Use that word, and it's I guess you want to say it's slang or whatever. And you can say it. It's your prerogative to say what you want. It's your prerogative to do what you want to do. But know exactly who you are and you don't matter. And I'm not saying that you don't matter to me. You don't matter to the majority of the United States. That's who you don't matter to. You don't matter to the dominant culture. You don't, because the white culture is dominant culture and that's what we don't matter to them. We don't have to matter to them. We don't. Because it's more of them than it is us in the United States. It really is. It's more of them than it is us. And that's why white privilege that's why it happens. That's why white privilege is okay. That's why they don't care about Black Lives Matter because they want to say all lives matter, and they do. But when will our lives start matter? All lives will start mattering when Black lives start mattering. That's when it will matter. Until then, all lives don't matter. White lives matter. That's what's going on in the world. That's what's happening. And I'm not saying all white people are racist, but you have to think about it. Look at something I would do to what a white person would do and see who gets off scot-free. And see who ends up in fucking jail. Let both of us rob a fucking bank. I'll either be dead or in jail for the rest of my life, while he'll either be in jail or scot-free. One or